Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we are diving into one of the biggest, riskiest, and most expensive projects a company can ever take on, implementing a new ERP system. If you get this wrong, the fallout can be absolutely catastrophic. But if you get it right, it can completely transform your business from the ground up. So, let's break down how you make sure you win.
Seriously, let this idea sink in for a second. An ERP is the digital backbone that connects absolutely everything: your money, your supply chain, your people, the whole shebang. Getting it wrong doesn't just give you a headache, it can literally paralyze the entire organization. The stakes just could not be higher. And look, this isn't just me being dramatic. The data is pretty sobering. A major report from Panorama Consulting found that over half of all ERP projects fail to deliver on what they promised. Just think about that for a second. That's a coin flip on a multi-million-dollar investment of time, money, and the brainpower of your best people.
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it's exactly what we're going to break down in this explainer. We're going to look at the incredible promise, the really common pitfalls, and the clear path forward to make sure your project lands on the right side of that 50-50 split.
So let's start with the why. Why would anyone take on this massive risk in the first place? Well, because here in 2025, the potential reward for getting this right is bigger than it has ever been. At its core, ERP software is all about creating a single source of truth for your business. So instead of having one system for accounting, another for your inventory, and a third for HR, and none of them talk to each other, an ERP brings it all together under one roof. And the systems today? Oh man, they are a world away from the clunky software of the past. We're talking about cloud-based platforms juiced up with artificial intelligence and machine learning. These things don't just store your data, they analyze it in real time to help you make faster, way smarter decisions. So if you look at the big players, they're all kind of carving out their own space. You've got SAP's S/4HANA, which is a beast built for massive companies that need instant data processing. Then there's Oracle's Fusion Cloud, which is all about embedding AI to automate everything. Microsoft's big play with Dynamics 365, well, it plugs right into the tools you probably already use, like Office and Teams. And Infor is laser-focused on building industry-specific solutions right out of the box, so you don't have to customize as much. Okay, so the promise is pretty clear: smarter, faster, more connected operations. But remember that 50% failure rate? It's a real thing. And it exists because most companies fall into the same predictable and, honestly, completely preventable traps.
This quote from Jesse Guzman just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly sets up the number one mistake people make. You can't just pave a cow path, right? Trying to slap a powerful, shiny new ERP system on top of your old, inefficient, broken workflows is an absolute recipe for disaster.
This right here is basically the anatomy of a failed project. It's a domino effect. It starts with trap number one, just what Jesse mentioned. You don't fix your broken processes first. That leads straight to number two. You totally underestimate the real cost. Then comes number three, you rush to go live way too soon. At the same time, maybe you picked the wrong partner for number four, someone who just doesn't get your business. And this leads to the silent killer, number five. You build this amazing system, but nobody wants to use it. Usually because of number six, you've over-customized everything. And it all goes back to the original sin, number seven, thinking this is just an IT project. It's not. It's a full-blown business transformation. Okay, so those 7 traps, they're common for pretty much any project. But for companies that are moving off of systems that have been running for 10, 20, maybe even 30 years, oh boy, the reality check is even more profound. These are the moments that are truly eye-opening. You see, when you're ripping out a system that is so deeply woven into your company's history and culture, you start to uncover challenges that go way beyond a simple checklist. All of your long-held assumptions about cost, about control, even about how your own business works, they get completely turned upside down. The first shock usually hits the budget. A lot of leaders are used to the old way. You pay a big, one-time license fee, and you're done. But the new reality is this weird hybrid model. You still have to own and maintain all the expensive hardware in-house, but now you're also paying recurring subscription fees. And to top it off, the vendor tells you when you have to upgrade. It's kind of like you're getting the costs of both models with the control of neither, and that can be a huge financial surprise. And here's another tough one. Who do you put on this mission-critical project? Of course, you tap your superstars, your best people. The problem is, they already have a full-time job running the actual business. So this double-duty pressure, it just leads to burnout. project delays, and you're pulling critical knowledge away from where it's needed day to day. I mean, you're basically asking your most valuable employees to clone themselves. Their time gets split right down the middle. If you don't have a solid plan to backfill their roles or really manage their workload, you're not just putting the ERP project at risk. You're risking your core business, you're risking burnout, and you're risking losing your best talent. And then there's maybe the biggest shock of them all, your data. The moment you finally crack open that 20-year-old system, you just find a complete mess. We're talking years of inconsistent data entry, duplicate customer records, outdated part numbers, you name it. And cleaning this up isn't just a technical task you can toss over to IT. Deciding what data to clean, what to move, and what to leave behind is a huge, costly, strategic decision that involves the entire business. So after all those warnings, how in the world do you navigate this minefield and actually come out on top? Well, the answer isn't about finding some magical piece of software. It's about changing your entire mindset. It's about having a real blueprint for success. Okay, this is your new playbook. First, and this is the most critical part, you have to frame this as a business transformation, not an IT project. That means your C-suite, your CFO, your COO, your CTO, they have to be in lockstep from day one. Next, get ruthless about forecasting the total cost of ownership. No surprises. When you pick a partner, vet them like you're hiring a new CFO. Their expertise is just as important as the software itself. But above all, prioritize your people. Success or failure comes down to one thing. Will they actually use the new system? So you have to invest heavily in change management and training. You know, ultimately, it all comes down to this. This journey is gonna be challenging. There will be surprises. But if you go in with clear-eyed strategic planning and a real commitment to preparing your people for the cultural shift, a successful transformation is absolutely 100% within your reach. And that's the final thought I really want to leave you with. You can go out and buy the fastest, smartest technology on the entire planet. But real, lasting transformation, that happens at human speed. The technology is ready. The real question is, are you?